We're here with the Sun Traditional to show you how to adjust the seat height on the Traditional. At home, you might just use an adjustable wrench or preferably 2 adjustable wrenches. That'll be enough to fit everything on the seat adjustment. Here in the shop, it's a little easier if you have the specific tools. So we've got an 11/16 inch wrench, a 13mm wrench, and a 14mm wrench, and that'll let us fit each one and work a little quicker. So I'll show you that in the video, but at home, an adjustable wrench will do. In general, what we're going to do is we're going to loosen up the seat post binder in the frame. There's where you might need 2 wrenches, which will allow you to hold the binder bolt while you turn the nut, especially when you're retightening it. Everywhere else, just 1 wrench will do. We're going to loosen up the top clamp for the seat, which will allow the seat to pivot as you change its height. We're going to loosen up the P-clips for the seat back support, which again will allow the seat to pivot as you change the height. And we'll remove completely the nuts on the end of the frame carriage bolts, which will allow you to move between the separate holes in the bottom of the seat back support. And there's one of those on each side of the frame, and we'll need to completely remove the nuts and move to a different position on the holes for each. The reason we're doing this, Cliff is going to hop on and show you. Cliff is 6'1", and right now the Sun Traditional is looking a little cramped for him. He's feeling a little tight there. We're going to adjust it to be a bit higher to help him out, and you see that the seat adjustment is very low, so he's going to start turning it up higher to help himself out. He's loosening the seat post binder bolt here. You notice he's loosening the nut in, and he's using his 13mm wrench. Next, he's using his 14mm wrench on the top clamp for the seat. You don't want to loosen this one too much because the top clamp is in several parts, and if you loosen it a lot, it'll swivel around. You want to loosen it just enough that it can kind of click and pivot as you start pulling stuff. So you see he's loosened it just a bit. The same with the P-clamps up top. You just want to loosen them enough that you can adjust the frame. This is one where when you're retightening it, you want to make sure it's fully tight because they can rattle loose if they're not fully tight when you put them back on. We're going to loosen it just enough for things to slide. Now he's going to use his 11/16 inch wrench to remove the nuts on the seat back support. So take the nut all the way out so the support can move to a different hole on the carriage bolt there. And we do the opposite side, same way. Once everything is loose, you'll be able to move to a higher position on the seat backrest support. You see how Cliff is moving both bars at the same time, and how the top of the seat is able to slide and pivot in order to accommodate the height. Now that he's got it at the highest position, he's going to check that everything is in tight for the bottom holes. He's going to thread the nuts back on. We're going to wait to fully tighten the nuts until we've got the seat in the proper position. But to start with, we'll finger tighten him. And now he can slide the seat post up, and you can watch the seat pivot back towards level as he slides the post up. He may need to loosen the binder or the top clamp just a little more to help him out. Sometimes it can help to have a friend to hold the bike for you while you work. You see as he loosens it, the seat will slide up level when he pulls the seat post up. And a note on the seat on the Sun Traditional, you'll notice it has the cutaway nose, but it's got a lot of shape to it. In general, we aim for the back of the seat to be level, which means the nose will be pointed up slightly. Depending on how you ride and your preferences, you may angle the nose down slightly to get a level position here on the front part of the seat, but usually people will sit farther back, and so this will be the part of the seat that you get level. So if you notice, this is about how we'll usually adjust it, but you can angle the nose down if you need to accommodate how it feels, and that'll be just like Cliff just did there by pulling on the seat post some with everything loose. Now he's tightening the top clamp back up, which will start to lock our adjustment in place. Once the top clamp is good and tight, he's going to go to the P-clips on the back of the seat and begin adjusting those slightly. This is one of the nuts that needs to be fairly tight. If you leave it a little bit loose, it can rattle loose there. So you want to make sure that you get it. Now he's got the P-clamps. He's going to tighten up the binder. You notice he's holding the back end of the binder bolt with his right hand while he tightens the nut over there with his left hand. This is where it may help to have a second wrench to hold the binder bolt for you while you tighten the nut, if you don't have a good strong grip like Cliff has got. And lastly, he's going to tighten down the lower nuts for the back support, just to make sure they're fully tight, since we left them finger tight while we did the adjustment. We don't want them to rattle loose. And once those are fully tight on both sides of the bike, we'll be able to hop back on and feel the height difference. And the height that you'll want the seat at is very much a personal preference based on how you ride, how your body is shaped, your level of experience. And so now that Cliff is on here, he's got a little more room to move his legs. He may be a little more comfortable, and he can adjust from there to dial it in precisely.